Season 2, Episode 13, How to Make a Real Beat. Now, I've told you guys that I only really consider there's two ways to make a beat, and that's original compositions, where you're playing your own MIDI notes on a MIDI keyboard, making your own song from scratch, or you're sampling. Sampling is taking other audio, slicing it up, and being really creative with it, which allows you to get a very special sound. All right, so in this episode, I want to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to make an original composition in this beat. I'm going to be using the exclusive audio drum bundle trio sounds. These sounds are available on my website. Just go to itsgratuitous.com/drums. Here's a couple of the kicks. They're quite unique. They're not hitting really low though. That's a different kind of kick. All right, so when using these drums, I often use multiple drums, and it allows me to get really cool drum loops. Like this is a cool drum. Maybe we'll work with that. It's going to have some bass. Something to be careful with this sound like this is because it has that bass, it might be fighting with the track later on. All right, so it's a big, cool sound. Just be aware of, you might need some extra work in the mixing or something to get it to keep having that impact. So a kick like this, you'd only want to be using that once in a while. Otherwise it's way too aggressive. But it's cool. It's a cool sound. Another cool sound. All right, so I'm just grabbing some kick drums that I like. I have this kick drum, and this kick drum. I am going to get some snares. So we use snares on our 2 and 4 is most common. Very cool sounds. Now again, when you are using sounds, you want to make sure you have 16-bit or 24-bit wave for the highest quality. All right, so I'm going to put my tempo to about maybe 92 beats per minute. I always tell you guys the easiest way to make a drum loop is you want to start with your kick drum on the 1, and then your snare on the 2 and the 4. Now in FL Studio, it's really, really easy to understand when you're looking at the channel rack. It goes 4 gray, 4 red, 4 gray, 4 red. And if I talk to you about safe spots, right, we have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, or it goes on beat, A in between, off beat, B in between. So kick on the 1, snare on the 2 and the 4. All right, 92 beats per minute. So I'm going to try to play these other drums and kind of fill up this drum loop just a little bit. All right. So no, a little later. So this drum, I'm going to turn it down in volume because it's going to be a little too loud coming in. Okay, so watch. We'll be able to maybe kind of slow it down. This is okay. We're going to work off of it. I'm going to play this drum maybe one more time. I just kind of want to keep hearing that a little bit bouncing around. Okay. This is not too bad. Now I always like to layer my drums or my snares and claps. Just adds a lot of fullness. Okay, now turn on them in volume though. Too aggressive. Okay, so turn it down a little bit more, those snares. I'm gonna get a hi-hat. So again, we have closed hats and open hats. So I'm just going to try and find some sounds that kind of go with it. I always use my arrow keys when I'm using FL Studio, going through the sounds. So I'm hitting the down arrow. If I want to hear the sound again, I'm hitting right arrow. So that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna try to make a little like kind of melody with this kind of sound, like So right now it's way too static, right? All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put this shaker into its own pattern. And this is gonna allow me to have two different variations of this pattern. So what I'm gonna do to quickly give this variation is I'm just going to hit make unique. Then now you have two different patterns. So one of these shakers is gonna be playing, just like this. And then the next one, I'm going to just remove one of the hats, and let's just bring it all back in. Okay, so it just has that last hit at the very end of the loop. So this drum loop is actually 2 bars, all right? So that is 8 beats, and the hi-hat changes from bar 1, and then in bar 2, I just add 1 step on the hi-hat. So here is the first part of the hi-hat loop. Going back. All right, so it, again, just has that extra 1 hi-hat, and it gives the listener just a little bit extra to hear. And that's all just from this drum loop. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sounds used in my drum loop. And it sounds like this. All right, again, listen to that extra hi-hat. Now again, because I'm using high quality drum samples, it makes the process a lot easier. I'm not saying it's easy, but high quality drum samples definitely give more inspiration to what you are making. They hit harder. And again, you guys can get these drum kits on my website. It's the exclusive audio drum bundle trio. Just go to itsgratuitous.com/drums. I'm going to load up an instrument with this drum loop. Virtual instruments I like to use. I really like Silence One. I also like Serum, I like Pigments, I like Nexus. And another way I like to make beats is I also like to use a single guitar note. I don't do it all the time, but it does make a very, very powerful and special sound. So you can hear just a single note. So it sounds out of pitch, right? But watch this. So. All right, so I'm just playing that on my keyboard, and I'm just going to route that just to a little bit of reverb, all right? If you guys have my FL Studio template, you know how fast this workflow is. So I'm doing this as I'm talking to you, right? I just routed it to a mixer insert. I added some reverb on. And this is a single guitar note. Okay, so let's hit play because this drum loop is a little bit more gangster, more rap-ish. So let's just see if we can kind of make more of like a nicer melody over it or something that kind of suits the drum loop. So it's all about just trying to find a melody that goes with this drum loop. Again, this drum loop is more gangstery, so maybe I'll try something more along that line. So go up a little higher. So. It sounds fine, but it's bassy, really, really bassy on the low end. So I'm opening up an EQ on that, and we're just going to really cut the lows, and that's going to allow this guitar to cut through with a lot more clarity. Okay, so without the EQ, right? So with it. But so now what's going to happen is the drum loop is going to continue to hit hard. And now I can try to find a melody. So. So right there, that's a beat, right? We have an awesome drum loop. We have one pattern that is giving variety. It's that hi-hat. Once you really start listening to it, it really starts adding a lot of flavor. Just that one extra hi-hat, I'm telling you, on the second bar. And then you have to find a melody that goes with it. So again, I was thinking that the drum loop was a little bit more, more rap-ish, rap. But I kept trying to find a melody that suited the drum loop. And in the beginning, I was struggling. I wasn't doing, I wasn't able to find something quick. There was a part there when I was trying to do like the bass line, and it was like just couldn't get so the sound itself, the actual guitar sound, it isn't a rap sound. It's too nice of us. It's too beautiful. Again, it's a single guitar note, and I show you how to make a beat like this in my platform. You go to itsgratuitous.com/courses, and the course is called Creating Organic Beats, all right? So it's included in the membership. You get access to all the courses there. But what I want to wrap up is I'm telling you guys, so how to make a real beat, okay? And I, again, consider original compositions and sampling are your two ways to make beats. All right, so if you really want to learn to make an awesome beat, I encourage you guys to come visit my website, itsgratuitous.com. I have tons of FL Studio training, and the best way is to join the membership. It's affordable. You can watch all of my courses. I have what's called the course pathways. It's a page where you get access to all the courses, and you can watch them in the proper order that I've laid out for you. And it allows you to learn in a really organized structure. You start understanding how to break free from watching videos and be able to make beats just like you heard today, right? Everything you heard, all the drum loops, playing the piano, it's taken me a long time to get to where I am. And it doesn't happen overnight. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to make beats in a week or in a month or in 2 months or in like a year or maybe even 2 years, you can get decent in a year, for sure. In 2 years, yes. But if you really want to take it to that next level, it's about really understanding the tools and reading, okay? I tell you guys all the time, you have to read to become a good music producer. If you are not reading, you're not going to get better. Videos help, right? This podcast, I'm hoping, is helping you or giving you inspiration or at least making you be aware of my brand, Gratuitous. But the goal here is for you guys to learn how to make beats so that you can enjoy what you're doing and have fun with it. Because that's, at the end of the day, you want to learn to make your own music, right? So I can show you all that stuff, how to make drum loops, how to make some melodies, and then you can be on your way. So if you guys have any questions, you guys can always reach me at itsgratuitous.com/contact. If you started to use FL Studio 20 and later, FL Studio is at a really, really nice state right now. If FL Studio would never get another update at this moment, like it works so good right now. For workflow, for enjoyment. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys in the next episode.